What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Topic of Discussion. I am your host, Miles Berry. Without further introduction, let's get right into it. So, today I am going to be speaking on the topic of separation anxiety. Again, separation anxiety, right? And for people that don't know what that is, let me just give you a definition. It is excessive fear and distress when separated from loved ones or when anticipating separation. It can cause physical symptoms, emotional symptoms like excessive worry that something bad will happen to a loved one, fear of being lost, refusing to leave, difficult sleeping, panic attacks. You have physical symptoms, and then you have behavioral symptoms, which is being clingy, frequent checking in, reluctant, and then just avoiding different situations, right? So I'm saying all that to say is when we have separation anxiety, even if it's from a relationship, a temptation, something that we were addicted to, an addiction, or just something that we love being around. But at the same time, I this is how I put it. I know everybody might have a different definition and so on and so forth, but at the same time, I feel like you can experience separation anxiety when you move on from someone, pretend like you were in a relationship, but maybe that relationship was very toxic and you guys can kind of figure it out, but at the same time, you guys wanted to, but the more you guys tried to figure out, the worse it got, where it just kept getting more toxic. You guys kept hurting each other emotionally and maybe physically, right? So you separate from this person and you know it was better and it was the best thing for y'all to do, but you have separation anxiety because you miss being around this person. You love them. You catered to them. You did everything that you could possibly do as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a husband, as a boyfriend. So you always feel tempted to run back to this. You literally have separation anxiety where it's like it's hard to sleep. Like I miss this person. Like you guys ever moved on from a relationship and it was one that you really been in for some time, or you really got to know this person and you really like loved them. If you did not love them, you were very close to loving them. So at the same time, your emotions were heavy for them. But at the same time, at this time, you guys were in a bad space. You guys needed to separate for the betterment of both of you guys. So in that separation, you're feeling hurt, you're feeling pain, you want to run back to it, but in the back of your mind, you know this is probably not good for me. But at the same time, you miss what you guys were sharing. And sometimes, even though relationships can be toxic, people miss being toxic because they love their partner and it was like, hey, you know what? We just gonna be toxic together. We just gonna be toxic for the rest of life. Like I love you. So at the same time, I know sometimes we tend to fight or sometimes we tend to argue all the time, but you my girl. You know what I'm saying? Or that's my man. So at the same time, when you think about it, we have to put separation anxiety and understand that that's part of life. And sometimes we are gonna experience separation anxiety when we go through different, I'm gonna say, go down different paths in life, and we understand that okay, you know what, it's time for me to move on, or you know what, I can finally see the situation for what it is now, and it's hindering my future, right? And it's hurting me more on a daily than it is positive, or it's more negative than it is positive. It's hindering my future. It's hurting me more dealing with you than I know it would be to go and live my life without you. So at the same time, I need to separate. I need us to separate, right? But at the same time, I miss you. So every day that we're not together, I'm missing you. But at the same time, I know this is needed. So I'm experiencing separation anxiety. But at the same time, I know I need this anxiety. I know I need to get over what I feel as far as my emotions, my physical emotions, my emotional state, and just every single emotion that I feel. I know I need to get over this, and I'd rather deal with these emotions than be in that relationship because I know that's going to hurt me more, right? So separation anxiety is not a bad thing when you put it like that, but it's really understanding where you are in your life, right? And understanding how to move forward and understanding that just because a relationship didn't work doesn't mean it's the end of the world, right? And a lot of times when we've been in a deep relationship or we've been together for years, when we separate, we automatically think like, oh my gosh, I can't live without this person. I've been living with them for years. Like we were living together. So at the same time, how do I move now? You know what I'm saying? I'm so used to coming home to you. I'm so used to telling you about my day. But at the same time, we're also so used to arguing. We're also so used to fighting. We're also so used to never being able to compromise. We're also used to never being able to come up with solutions. So at the same time, it's like, do you really miss it, or do you miss what you were getting out of it? Was it helping you move on in your life and bettering you as an individual, or was it hindering your future? And the same thing goes with temptations or addictions. When you're addicted to something and you finally separate yourself, you're gonna miss what you were being tempted to, right? It's a temptation. So you're gonna miss that on the daily. You're always gonna feel like, man, I really want to go back to this temptation. I really want to go back to this addiction. Like, man, I'm so used to it. My body's so used to it. How I feel, I'm so used to it. I'm just used to being addicted to this. So that when you start to move on, you're gonna experience separation anxiety, where it's hard not to be without it. Definitely, if you've been doing this addiction for years, or you've been tempted to this thing for years, it's hard to go days, maybe even hours without it, because you're so used to it. So therefore, it's hard for you to move on, and you're experiencing separation anxiety. And that's why when we deal with addiction, it's hard for us to move on, because in the back of our mind, we're attracted to this addiction. It's not like we hate it. So therefore, it's like, I'm moving on because I know this is not what I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, I'm really in love with this addiction. So therefore, as you move on and as you try to become a better person, you have to understand that, okay, I'm moving on for the betterment of my good. And if I don't move on, it's gonna hurt my future. It's gonna hurt my mental, because what I'm feeding my mind is negativity, and it's of this world. And I'm trying to be someone that's not of this world. So if I'm feeding my mind things of this world, it's hurting my future. Right? It's hurting my relationship with God. It's hurting the next person that I'm gonna be in a relationship with, because these addictions, I feel like I might love these addictions more than I love this person. And there's a lot of people that don't want to admit that, but they're in relationships where they're so addicted to these temptations and addicted to their addictions that they love their addictions more than they love this person. And that's why it hinders their relationship moving forward. So don't feel like separation anxiety is a bad thing when you're doing it for the betterment of your good, right? And while I'm still here, I also want to talk about just growing. You know, sometimes growing is uncomfortable. And do you feel like you can put yourself in uncomfortable situations to get back comfortable? Because when you're changing, or you're going down different paths, or you're trying to become a better version of yourself, and you're trying to put yourself in the best position, you're trying new things, you may be switching jobs, you may be getting into new relationships, some things are going to feel uncomfortable. But that's part of the process to be comfortable. Is to be uncomfortable. I'm not saying at all times, but sometimes we have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And are you willing to be uncomfortable to be comfortable for your future? And that's something to think about, because I know a lot of times growth is a process in our life that we're always going to be growing every year, just like our age. But at the same time, if your mental is not growing, what you're feeding into your soul and feeding into your mind, how you're dealing with people on a daily, like, you can see the changes in your life when you're making it, right? Like, when you're growing as an individual and you're actually making changes and you want to change, you're gonna see your growth on the daily, right? And you're gonna understand that I had to put myself in uncomfortable situations to be comfortable. I had to do something that I really wasn't sure how it was gonna come out. I did something new today. I decided to approach this situation differently. I decided to have a different perspective on the world, a different outlook. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to change your perspective to eliminate the things that are hindering you moving forward, right? So it's a it's an uncomfortable process sometimes, but at the same time, it's beauty on the other side if you want it to be. You know how people say the grass is greener on the other side. It's only greener on the other side if you want the grass to be greener on the other side. So don't just jump and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this, but at the same time, I know it's gonna be better on the other side. No, if you're not taking the correct steps to change, if you're not taking the correct steps to better yourself on a daily, if you're not taking the correct steps to be the best version of yourself, you're not gonna get the results of being the best version of yourself or a better version of yourself, right? Because you just want that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting something, but if your actions are not aligning with the steps that you want to take or the things that you want, you're not gonna get the results. So we gotta change. And some of us are stressing. We're stressing on a daily. We're stressing. I'm one of them. I fall victim. I'm stressing on a daily. Because we know where we want to be, and we know the challenges that we're dealing with in life. And sometimes we feel like we're behind. Sometimes we feel like, am I doing enough? Am I treating this person good enough? Right? Am I where I'm supposed to be in my life? What do I need to change out my life? And better yet, that's really our overthinkers. So people that overthink, they're really gonna understand what I'm saying because we second guess everything. Am I doing this right? Am I taking the right steps? Should I be with this person? Do I really love this person? Am I treating my family right? Do I need to change? Am I looking at the world correctly, or am I tripping? Or do I need to look at it like this? Right? Am I 10 steps behind, or am I one step forward right now? I'm really confused, but at the same time, it's not bad to be an overthinker, but it's understanding. It's understanding and being able to differentiate. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but to distinguish between the two of am I doing what's best for me or am I doing what's best for them, right? Because we get surrounded by people that we love. We get surrounded by people that say they care about us, and they really might. But at the same time, they don't know exactly what we want to do in our life because people only know how much we share with them, right? So I want us to understand that choose what you want to do in your life. Understand the steps that you need to take, and take those steps. And regardless of how people might look at you, regardless of how your loved ones might feel, your family might feel, your parents might feel, your siblings might feel, you have to do what's best for you at the end of the day, right? Because when all these people are away from me and I go to sleep at night, I'm going to sleep by myself. These thoughts are still going to be on my mind of if I made the right decision, if I did what's best for me, or did I do what's best for someone else. Do I feel good about this decision in my heart, or do I know they feel good about the decision that they told me to make? So it's a difference, and I want us to feel good about the decisions that we make. We're not always going to make the right decisions. We're not always going to make the best decisions, but it's about learning from your mistakes, and don't be afraid to take wisdom. People are not telling you, like when you have older people, your grandparents, it could be your parents, or just people that just been down roads that you're going down, and they're saying, you know what, this may not be the best step for me. And if you keep going down this road, it's a big old hole in the road, and you're gonna fall in it, right? And they're saying, I already been down that road where the hole is, and I'm telling you, you should not go down that road. And you're saying, how do you know what's best for me? How do you know what's best for me? Just because you took that road in your life and you fell into that hole, why can I just maneuver around it? And somebody's saying, and they're still saying, if you go down that road, there's no way around it. I'm trying to tell you this to prevent you going down this road and going so far down that road that you have to turn around and come back to get back on this main road to take another route. So when people are giving you wisdom, understand and think about, is this somebody that I can trust? Is this somebody that wants what's best for me? Right? Because you can get wisdom from somebody that doesn't know who you are and understand your life, and they're giving you wisdom, but they may not know what you're capable of. And that's why I feel like it's really good to take wisdom from people that actually know you and care about you, because they understand how you think. They understand how you move. And they saying, like, I know if you go down this road, you're gonna try and maneuver, you're gonna try to jump over, you're gonna try to do everything that you can to get over it. And I know that's who you are. But at the same time, I'm telling you that if you go down this road, it's no other way around that hole, and you will fall in. And you're gonna kill yourself. And if you don't kill yourself, the process to get out of this hole is gonna take a lifetime. And by the time you finally get out this hole, you're gonna have not a lot of life to live. And you're gonna hate that you did that. So therefore, I'm trying to prevent that for you because I went down that road and I had to go through that. So if you can just listen to this wisdom that I'm telling you and change your route, I promise you it's gonna be so much better and it's gonna be so much brighter. And the light is over here and it's darkness over here. So you have to trust my words. And this is the best way to take wisdom from anybody. When people are giving you wisdom and you're not sure what to do, you're not sure what's the best decision, you're kind of back and forth, pray about it. Definitely, if it's somebody that you love and care about, God, is this the right decision for me? I hear the wisdom that they're trying to give me, and I understand and I appreciate them. And I appreciate you for putting them in my life to be able to preach to me like they are. But at the same time, is this the right decision for me? I understand it may not have been the right road for them, but guide my steps and show me the direction that I need to go. And I appreciate you for having them in my life and giving me the opportunity to speak to them to gain wisdom, even if I don't go down that road, or even if I do go down that road. Thank you for giving me insight. But I want you to guide my steps to let me know if I'm taking the right direction, if I'm being the best version of myself. What do I need to do for me? And what steps do I need to take to get to heaven, to get to you? Because that's what I'm doing on this earth. I'm taking worldly steps to get to heaven. So guide my heart and guide my soul. I want to be more like you and less like the world. So change my habits and change my soul, not so I can go down the right direction. So again, growing is an uncomfortable process sometimes, and it can be very stressful. It can be a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of frustration. Some days we want to cry. Some days we do cry, and just understand that it's nothing in this world that we can't get past. And remember, this too shall pass. When I'm going through things, this too shall pass. I got to keep telling myself that because I stress myself out. I stress myself out. When I say I stress myself out, I stress myself out. And I'm an overthinker as well. So I would think about every scenario and put myself in every predicament and see, okay, if I do this, what's the result of this? If I do this, what's the result of this? Maybe I don't need to do this. But if I do this, what's the result of this? But they said this, so who should I really listen to? And also, I know they told me this. Like I'm overthinking. My mind is moving like a thousand miles a second. And I just want to know what's the right decision because I feel like I don't want to experience pain and I don't want to experience not making the right decision again in my life. So I overthink about everything and I never know what's the right thing. And that's like if I lose everything, man. But at the same time, it's not like I haven't lost everything before. I'm just trying not to put myself in that position again or that predicament. So therefore, at the same time, it's just like if I lose some good people in my life, some things maybe that I shouldn't have lost. In my mind, this is nothing new to me. I'm trying to become a better person so I can stop looking at it like that and understand, okay, maybe this person's in my life because they actually love who I am. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just so used to not feeling that and not seeing that I don't I don't put so much in it. And I don't put as much in it as I would before because in the back of my mind, this may not work. And if I give my all here, what if I get hurt again? I don't want to get hurt again. So instead of giving so much, I'm gonna give a little bit. So therefore, if I lose, I'm only losing a little bit. And I know everybody's gonna have a different take on that, and maybe that's not right, but I'm still growing. I'm still growing, and this is I'm still in my process of getting to the person and the man that I need to be for my future, for my wife, for my family, for a better son, better brother, better grandson. Like I'm changing who I am, and this is all part of the process. So um, just don't be afraid to be uncomfortable, and understand that being uncomfortable, continue to take the path to get back comfortable, and understand the process that works for you. Don't be afraid to take wisdom. Don't be afraid to listen. Just because people can give you wisdom or give you game, that doesn't mean you have to do exactly what they say. But don't be afraid to listen because in the process of listening, you might hear something else that you can apply in a different area, right? So I'm praying for everyone. I'm praying for our growth, and I know our success is coming. So let's just keep pushing forward. This has been topic of discussion. Miles Berry, we out.